If you want to earn money online, there are a lot of potential options. You've got social media or pictures management, graphic design, virtual assistants, Facebook ad management, blogging, and of course, web design, just to name a few. So, which path do you choose? Today, I'm going to be making the case for why I think web design is one hella good option to be considering. Oh, and if you think you are not some coding genius, so it's going to be impossible for you to build a web design business, then think again. Back when I was still serving clients just one-to-one, I was consistently bringing in 10K months, and believe me, I was, and honestly still am, far from confident in the coding department. So if the second you hear website designer, you automatically think, oh, I can't do that, I don't know how to code, or if you're like me and you have just zero desire to learn how to code, the good news is it is 100% not necessary, and you can absolutely build yourself a pretty sweet, booked out web design business without that if that is your goal. Oh, and if you're watching this and you're new to my business, you should probably know that I used Squarespace for my clients' websites. The fabulous thing about being a Squarespace website designer specifically is that it's easy enough to hand the website over, even to the most tech-phobic of clients, once your project is done, and they are capable of updating and editing their own website and content themselves in the future. On the flip side, if you do use a lot of custom coding work in a client's website design, it can make it a little bit challenging for them to maintain the website later. So I'd argue that if you become a Squarespace website designer, it's best to probably not add any additional coding onto your client's website so they can actually update and edit the thing themselves once the project is complete, unless you have a desire to keep clients on retainer. So anyways, now that your coding fears have been eased, let's go into the specific reasons for why I think being a website designer takes the cake in terms of potential online business ideas. Reason number one, you get to choose to either have recurring revenue or complete freedom. So let me explain what I mean by this. A lot of potential online businesses, for example, social media management, virtual assistants, Facebook ad management, require frequent check-ins and constant ongoing work and maintenance from you, which means that you pretty much need to make yourself available to your clients 365 days a year. For me, my thought process was, what about a week of vacation or just having some time to work on something else in my business for a week to give myself just a mental break from client work? That's one of the reasons I loved being a website designer. I am the type of girl who wants to pack up her bags and head out to Cuba, which has notoriously horrible internet, by the way, and be needed by no one. I love to take a week or a few here and there to truly have time off for my business and not be stressing that my inbox is filling with issues from clients, which means I'm needed all of the time. As a website designer, I end each project with an hour-and-a-half lesson for my clients. That means I hop on a video call with my clients where I share my screen and I teach them every aspect about how to use their website so they were easily able to update it and edit it over time themselves. I would then record this call, upload it into the back end of their website, so if they ever wanted to do something and they forgot how I did it, they could easily go back and watch that video. Now, I didn't keep my clients on monthly retainers to do updates and edits for them purposefully because I wanted freedom to just not be needed year-round by my clients. But that's just one side of the coin and my personal preference. If you happen to love recurring revenue and you want to prioritize that over complete freedom, at least maybe for a season, then being a website designer is still 100% a solid option for you. Keeping clients on retainer, that is having them pay you a consistent amount monthly for you to be available to help them with things like designing new blog post graphics or updating content for their website or creating new pages for their new offerings, etc. It's also very common in the web design world. Basically, the amazing thing about being a website designer is that you can choose whatever you prefer. You can decide on the recurring revenue by keeping clients on retainer, or you can decide for freedom by teaching them how to update and edit their website. The choice is truly yours. And honestly, not a lot of online businesses offer that option. If the freedom to travel with off-the-grid trips and zero self-service is important to you, then don't do retainers for clients. If, on the other hand, consistent, reliable income is important to you, then do go for retainers. Then, if you want to change your mind or your priorities in the future, you can easily do that too. Being a website designer is really super flexible, so that is a big win in my book. Reason number two, clients book well in advance, which means semi-predictable income for you. Now, let's be real, Working for yourself is nothing if not unpredictable. That's just the price that you pay for not having the comfort and security of clocking into your 9-to-5 job every day and walking out with a paycheck in hand every couple weeks like the rest of the world. The good thing about web design, however, is that this is the type of project that clients tend to book well in advance. For clients, a new website is a big deal in their business and something that they tend to save up for and plan for and look forward to for months. This is not a rush job like quickly whipping up an ebook, as is common for graphic designers. Everyone knows that the really good web designers are booked out, and clients really don't want to work with a second-rate option for such a major project in their business, so it is extremely common for clients to book their web design space well in advance. I've had clients book 6+ months out to work with me. Yeah, there was other web designers available a lot sooner, but they preferred to wait in order to work with me. Very touching. All this to say, when you get known as a go-to designer, you can book clients out months into the future, and therefore it's pretty easy to guesstimate what you're gonna make a few months out based on the price of the projects that your clients have booked in for. Reason number 3, it is easier to raise your prices as often as you like. So obviously, when you're first starting out as a web designer, you aren't going to be charging top dollar, but as your skills and confidence quickly increase, so should your rates. My team and I were recently chatting with a past student of my Square Secrets and Square Secrets business courses, Ida Winstead, and she shared that she actually increases her rates by a couple $100s with every single new client. Yes. Whatever she wants to make with her next project, she just lists the amount as her starting rate on her services page. Then when that slot is booked, she bumps it up again. If she's had multiple clients contact her at the same time, she does it on a first come, first served basis. So it's a fabulous way to get the fence sitters off the fence and also challenge herself to keep improving as a website designer. If you're interested to hear more about that, you can check out Ida's full interview here. So now let's look at what it would take to raise your prices as, say, a virtual assistant or a social media manager. Due to the nature of your work, you're probably sticking with the same clients for an extended period of time rather than attracting new clients for one-off projects every time you want to fill your books. So if you're thinking of raising your prices, you have to find a way to break it to your current very loyal clients first. So it's really something that you want to plan for well in advance and only do once or twice a year at max. Plus, if you've signed some sort of contract with that client, say for 3 months or 6 months or even a year, you can't raise your rates on that client until your contract has expired, and you probably also want to give them plenty of notice before they rebook that your rates will be going up, so there's no nasty surprises for them. So if you're going to ditch the 9-to-5, it might as well be for something where you are in complete control of your prices at all times. Kind of the whole point of being your own boss, right? And it is way easier to raise your rates as a web designer than as some other online business options. Reason number 4, and possibly my favorite, is you can plan those timelines around your ideal lifestyle and your travels. I started my web design business while I was still in college. I was doing a full-time master's degree, working as a graduate assistant 20 hours a week for my department, running a travel blog, and I started my web design business in this time too. Clearly, my plate was pretty full. If I had client projects running long and then they started overlapping with other client projects alongside my job for college and all the work that went with my classes, I was quickly going to find myself in a really sticky situation. So I decided to define my projects by timeline. I took on one client at a time and I did their full site from scratch to launch in just 2 weeks. When I graduated and wandered out into the real world, I really loved my 2-week process and had no intentions of changing it. A major reason, again, for this was travel and just also my sanity, to be honest. I wanted to be able to book a flight and head away to Scotland with friends and know that some client project wasn't going to be dragging on into the time I should be exploring a new country. That, and I honestly wanted to set aside a week of uninterrupted time to just accomplish big business tasks like filing my taxes or redoing my own website or mass preparing and batching out a bunch of blog posts in advance. Now, I've said this before and I will say it again. I am exceptionally bad at juggling multiple expectations at one time. Yes, I can do it if need be, but I also hate it. I find it super stressful to have multiple clients relying on me at a time or students expecting something from me all at the same time. When all of those responsibilities pile up and overlap at the same time, I go into hot mess mode and it is not a good time for me. So web design is one of those businesses where you can plan project timelines and stick to them. I didn't once have a web design project take more than the allotted 2 weeks and run over long. So when you know with certainty that a project will start and end on specific dates, it's a lot easier to book in clients in advance and to know with certainty that when their date arrives, all your other work will be completed and you'll just be ready to serve them. And at the same time, for myself, this guaranteed that I would be free any weeks that I didn't book in a client, and that meant that I could book flights and trips and even events with friends and family completely stress-free, knowing my work wasn't going to impinge on my life. Alrighty, on to my final reason that being a web designer totally rocks the socks off any other online business idea, and that is income as a website designer is a lot higher than other online businesses. So the going rate for a small 5-page Squarespace site is currently about $2,500-ish. That's just for the website, by the way. That doesn't include copy or branding or anything else that you might decide to offer as part of a more all-inclusive style package. And bigger websites with more pages or websites with added functionality like an online shop, a blog, or online scheduling tend to go for a lot more. Myself and my past students have had more major projects range from $9,000 to $13,000 before, and yes, that's all just still within a 2-week timeline. Now, I'm not as familiar with the exact going rate on graphic design, social media management, or virtual assistants because I never opted to do any of those in my business, but I can confidently say that rarely or never do any of these other options command nearly as high of a price point as website design, especially for such a short project timeline. Now, in complete honesty, one exception might be Facebook Ads Managers, with a good Facebook Ads Manager charging anywhere between $2,000 to $10,000 a month, depending on the size of the account of their clients and how many campaigns they're running. But good ads managers tend to have a team of copywriters and graphic designers, so the income is split between a handful of people, so you'd have to take on multiple clients at a time to hit that 10K month benchmark personally. Now, basically, my point is if you want a high-paying online business that can easily cover your cost of living, business expenses, taxes, website design is a really, really good option. In terms of income, website design definitely wins over social media management, virtual assistants, or graphic design, hands down. In fact, a few months into going full-time in my web design business, I had actually fully booked myself out several months in advance. I couldn't possibly take on more projects, and I was already charging premium prices, so I was faced with a decision. Do I A, keep raising my prices and booking myself literally years in advance, or B, start an agency and hire and manage a team of website designers, or C, do I teach everything I know inside of a course? I personally chose the course route, and I've now taught thousands of students the secrets to building completely custom, killer converting Squarespace websites without the use of code through my course Square Secrets. And of course, after taking Square Secrets, students who might have originally just planned on DIYing their own website for a completely different business had then fallen in love with designing websites and the entire process. Suddenly, my inbox was full of questions asking how they, too, could turn this fancy new web design skill into a thriving business for clients as I had done. So this is how my second course, Square Secrets business, was born. I basically rounded up everything I had learned about starting and running a successful web design business, and I packaged it all up into a proven step-by-step game plan for aspiring designers so they could skip the expensive trial and error period and get on to the sexy stuff. Like seeing inquiries coming in from their dream clients and having more than enough money left at the end of the month to treat themselves to those fancy new boots or finally cross that trip off of their bucket list or finish paying off that student debt for that totally unrelated degree they spent years earning. Basically, a customizable business in a box. So if you're currently sitting over there thinking, yes, I want to be a website designer too, but I have literally no idea how to get started, then I invite you to join me and thousands of other happy past students inside of my courses so you can get started building that fully booked out web design business that actually supports a life that you love. You can find the enrollment details for that right here, and I'll also pop that link for you in the description below too. Now, that's everything for today. I hope that gave you a little insight into the perks of picking web design as your next online business idea. Now, if you found this video helpful, be sure to let me know by hitting the like button. And remember, for the best tips on building your dream web design business, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the little bell button so you'll be notified when new content drops on the channel every single week. And if you're wondering what to watch next, I highly recommend these videos too.